In this lesson, we're going to learn how to input numbers using the standard input device or the keyboard. So we're going to do this primarily just by demonstrating a simple program that adds two numbers together. So the first thing I want to do is create some variables. And then we're going to assign values to them. So to do that, I'm going to create a prompt. That's the part you should already know. And now here's how we get that input in, is using something called the CN object. And let's, whoops, wrong variable. Let's spend a minute and take a look at how this works. CN is the object that represents the standard input object, or in this case the keyboard. You can also think of it as character input if you're thinking of cout as character output. And then also notice that after the CN we have two greater than signs. That's called the input operator. And then we follow the input operator with the variable where we're going to store the data, the number that the user's entering. So what we're doing is we're saying get some input from the keyboard and flow it, or stream it, that's really the correct way to say that, stream it into the variable number 1. And that's really all there is to it. Let's enter the second number now. Add the two variables together. Display the result. And we're finished. So let's compile and run the program. So we'll just do something simple, 12 plus 3, and the result is 15. Now, let's do it another way. Let's enter two numbers in the same input line, if you want to call it that. So let's get rid of everything right here. We'll keep the rest of the program. And let's change our prompt to say enter two numbers. And then to get them in, we're going to go CN, number 1, input operator, number 2. Now let's look at the program running, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what we just did. Let me put this where you can see it. 2, and 3, and the result is 5. Notice that to make that work, let's run it again. I wrote 2, or typed space 3. The space is what we'll call the delimiter here, and it lets the compiler know that 2 is going to be the first input number. That's going to go into variable number 1, and 3 is the second input value, and it's going to go into the variable number 2. Then we hit enter, and the result is 5. And that's really all there is to know, well, enough to know about working with CN, is that you have the object CN followed by the input operator followed by a object, a variable, to receive the data when it's typed in. And with that, we've wrapped up this lesson on entering numbers using the CN object.